Mike, what was going on in your life that made a 100-day hard challenge feel like it was a necessary thing to do?
It's a great question. Straight into it. I love it. So arrived to Australia, and it kind of takes a bit of time to get set up with apartments, with the job. The Lions tour was on, as you know, which obviously where we met. And I think in the first few weeks, I was on a trajectory that I didn't come here to be on. I was having a good time, don't get me wrong. The Lions tour was amazing. Like, obviously, when you come meet people at the start, you drink a lot. You probably get into some bad habits. Your food shop is all over the place. You're obviously focused on like getting set up with a permanent job, as I said, that you let kind of bad habits creep in as a result because you're just focused on those things. And after 3 Lions tests and some boozy nights out, I was like, at the current rate that I'm going, this isn't why I came to Bondi. I didn't like where I was going, where the needle was pointed. And I just felt like I needed a massive reset.
So if you could extrapolate that needle, where was that needle pointed?
Drinking every weekend and a lot of social events, I kind of just stopped enjoying. I'd started to drink less over the few months before coming out here. Me and Lily, my girlfriend, wanted to leave Dublin just because we kind of felt like we just needed a new change. But then also I watched from afar on Instagram and social media about this like vibrant morning community that were really into fitness. There were a lot of people building things here. There were a lot of creators here. And it was like I wanted to get stuck into that lifestyle. But when I first arrived, the lifestyle I was living was kind of just, there was no real direction. There was just probably just a lot of nights out that I just stopped enjoying, and I just needed to have a full reset.
So the lifestyle you actually are describing, it's a very typical lifestyle for someone who lives in Ireland or the UK. What's wrong with that lifestyle?
Nothing wrong with it. It's there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
But for you, I mean, like, what was wrong with it for you?
I just kind of got to a stage where I stopped enjoying it. Simple as. I just was going on nights out, and I kind of, being honest with myself, I was like, I'm not really having a good time here. And that's why I felt like I wanted to explore this like sobriety. And I kind of started getting a taste for trying to burn the candle at both ends and trying to get up at the crack of dawn and get stuck into the fitness community here. But also I was still doing the nights out, and they don't go really hand in hand. And I wanted to lean more into that morning culture, and the like crazy fitness community is here. That like everyone, when you walk down Bondi Beach, everyone is absolutely jacked and just looks so healthy. And I don't think there's many other places in the world that when you get up at 7 a.m, it feels like you slept in. And I just really enjoyed that part of my week. And I stopped enjoying the later nights. And it was literally just that. I just got to a point where I was being honest with myself. I was like, actually, I don't really look forward to these nights out anymore. It's almost like I'm kind of going to as a box ticking exercise.
To keep other people happy?
Kind of keep other people happy, but kind of just to, probably to just keep other people happy, or just because that's what everyone's doing. Like everyone's doing it, so everyone's going to the event, so I'm going to go to the event. But then it was a case like I'm actually not really enjoying the event anymore. And there's nothing wrong with drinking. Did it since I was 15 years old, and especially if you can enjoy the nights out. But I just got to a stage where I was being honest with myself, I wasn't enjoying it anymore, and that's why I needed to change.
I went through a very similar experience myself just prior to me stopping drinking, and it was very gradual. For me, but I could hear the voice creeping in on those nights out. It nearly felt like I was asking myself that internal question, like, Chris, are you really enjoying this? Who are you doing this for? And I remember probably about a month or two before I stopped drinking, I was on my mate's stag do in Liverpool, and I would just like nearly run to the toilet and have a sort of little mini panic attack and be like, I am not enjoying this.
Yeah, wow.
And then something similar happened at the wedding, because you're at the wedding, you're drinking all day. And it was about a month later when I came back and stopped drinking as well. So I can definitely relate to what you're saying, mate. You may have noticed that we've recently rebranded the podcast. The good news is that offer of a free coffee on me is still available. But here's what I need you to do. I need you to pause the podcast right now, go into YouTube, hit that subscribe button, then go over to Spotify, hit that follow button. It'll take 30 seconds of your time and it's absolutely free. And then if you see me in person and you can show me that you're following the podcast on both platforms, I'll buy you a coffee as a thank you. Thank you for continuing to support the podcast. It means the world to me.
Yeah, I think it comes first before you don't just make a decision one morning, right, I'm done, even though sometimes you say that when you're hungover. But I think it is gradual. Like it was creeping in and some nights out in Dublin. And yeah, it was something that I was really curious about, just giving it a go. And as I said, it's like, you start bush drinking from the age of 15 and like all the way up to 26 now. Like that's 11 years, where probably the largest stint I'd done off like alcohol was just over COVID. But other than that, like it's always been a big part of my life. So I was really curious to just give it a go. Well, what does life look like without it? And that was like obviously a big motivation. But I actually felt like I needed the challenge to give people the excuse. I didn't think I could just come and just tell people, do you know what, I'm off it now, lads. I'm done. I feel like I needed like a big 100-day challenge, and that people would be like, fair enough, he's doing a challenge, which actually made it a lot easier.
So it's nearly using the challenge as a socially acceptable excuse to get off the booze.
Yeah. And it worked. People were a lot like more understanding of me not drinking on nights out, or like not going to some of the nights out, because I was doing like this thing.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think in today's society we need to hide behind a challenge rather than just say to your mates, hey, I'm taking a bit of time off the booze?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how much of that is a society thing or an internal thing. Like, it made it easier for me to say I was doing the challenge. I felt like I needed an excuse. Like, in hindsight, maybe I didn't need to work out twice a day for 100 days to just stop drinking for a period. It definitely helps, like a kind of I started a new job as well, and there's a lot of like drinking in the corporate world, which I've had great fun, by the way, like in my, like when I started my career in the Big Four, and it's a big part of it. But yeah, no, definitely I felt like I needed to show up to these situations. I needed like an excuse for not being drinking, and I didn't think just saying I didn't want to was enough. And why that is, like, I'm not sure. Why do you think that is? Did you feel like you needed that? Because you did a similar journey, but you did 75 days hard.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you did that challenge as an excuse for people to just give you, to be a bit more understanding when you said it?
I was looking for a reason to stop drinking, a socially acceptable reason to stop drinking. And at the time, sort of, it was the end of 2023. Yeah, the 75 hard challenge was just sort of kicking off. It was very popular.
Yeah.
And again, if I'm really honest with myself, I just wanted to hide behind the challenge. I wanted a socially acceptable reason to stop drinking for an extended period of time, over my birthday, over Christmas, over New Year's, over wedding season. And yeah, as you say, if you frame it as a challenge, for some reason it's more socially acceptable. It puts other people at ease nearly.
Yeah. Because maybe it's because it's the time is capped. He's only going to do it for X amount of time. He's just trying this thing.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you did the exact same thing, and I'm sure it's probably a good bit of wisdom if anyone wants to try it. Commit to an extended period of time, because people are more accepting of that.
Yeah.
Like dry January is really socially acceptable
because it's framed as a challenge.
It's framed as a challenge. It's like, he's only going to do it for 30 days, and then it's fine. But then you can just do it for 30 days and assess how you're feeling after, and just keep going. You know, the hardest parts, I'm sure you'll resonate with this, were like the first time nights out, or the first time saying no, or the first time someone's buying around and you're like, I'll get a Peroni 0-0. There's something about doing that from the first time, but the more you do it, the easier it gets.
I had a big wedding at at the end of my very first week. And
Tough start.
it was a tough start. But they were serving like heaps normals, which is a 0% beer behind the bar. And it just made the whole thing so much easier. Like, and I was like on the dance floor more than anyone else that night.
Yeah.
So I think actually having the wedding in that very first week, although I was dreading it, actually having something like that so soon within the challenge, I was like, oh, I actually can do this.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So mate, let's give the 100 hard challenge like a bit of context. So as I mentioned a couple of years ago, 75 hard challenge was very, very popular. You decided to do your own spin on it. The 100 hard challenge, very similar, but you sort of put your own rules in place.
Yeah, it was the same like idea, but I switched around some of the rules. I removed some of the what I would have considered smaller ones, like the reading, because I consider I read a bit anyway. And to be honest, I just thought, so I'll just go through the rules. It was no alcohol, obviously, for 100 days, 2 workouts a day, 2 45-minute workouts or 1 90-minute long workout. And that's just because I had a marathon in the middle of the 100 days. And the last thing I wanted to do was do a 3-hour long run and then have to go into the gym and do a few pull-ups and push-ups. I was like, okay, that's just ridiculous. Then a whole food diet, a swim in the sea every single day, and to document it every day with a reel, like not just a generic post. I wanted to really, over the 100 days, be completely honest in like everything that's going to go into my mouth. Like Instagram's going to see it. Every training session I do, Instagram's going to see it. And then try just any thoughts that linger over the 100 days or any challenges or have a bit of fun with it as well. Try have a bit of a laugh with it. And yeah, there was 5 main rules. Yeah.
So what did a typical day look like? On a day where you had 2 workouts a day, what did a typical day look like?
Typical day where it looks like get up at probably 5:30, jump in the sea first thing, head to Virtus for an open gym session, do a push, pull, lower split for about 45-50 minutes. Then I go from Virtus into work, do a day's work. Actually, before the day started, and Sunday would have been a bit of meal prepping as well, because obviously I was going in and out of the office. So, you know, the whole food, I was very strict on the whole food diet. There isn't really any options, to be honest, I found in the city, if you're being honest with it, for it to be strictly whole foods. So the day would have started with meal prep night before, day's work, and then on the way home from work, on Monday, I'd usually run home from work and leave my stuff in the office, and that would be my second workout, or a conditioning session in Virtus, or it could be like a 45 minutes kind of aerobic session on the bike. It could be, honestly, go down to the bars here in Bondi and do a bit of bodyweight exercises for 45 minutes. Used to be a big fan of a Murph. And then back home, cook some steak, roast some chicken, have half a kilo of mince with some vegetables, spend an hour putting that all together into one reel, get to bed and do it all again the next day.
Yeah. So mate, let's talk about the social media side of things.
Yeah.
Why the daily posting on social media?
Well, one, accountability, first and foremost. Like, it's when you put yourself out there and you say you're going to do something, like that is like one of the strongest forms of accountability. Like, I said it from day one that some people won't be watching the whole time, but they will check in 70, 80 days in. And so if I'm not being honest in like this whole food diet, have super clean diet, if I'm not kind of continuing to train, that I did think like that day 1 to day 100, like kind of photo or transformation, like people will tune into that. And that idea, like it can be incredibly honest. And when you're posting on social media all the time, it's like that thing, I think Chris Williamson says it, is how would you live your life if there was a film crew following you all the time? Well, you'd probably like be pretty honest with your time. You'd probably scroll less. You wouldn't sleep in the morning. You'd kind of live like, yeah, pretty honestly and pretty clean. And so firstly, accountability. And I was also, I wanted to try this thing of building a personal brand as well. And I think the hardest part of that for me anyway was I'd always thought about it, but I never had the stones to like post, or I never felt like I had anything to post. Whereas if I was just documenting my day for 100 days, I made it easier.
Why was that important to you, the personal brand side of things?
I just like, I suppose I was watching from afar people here in Bondi, and I'd seen kind of people get decent traction with it, and it seems like something that I was just made me curious. I was kind of always wondered, I wonder what it would be like if I did that. Could I do it? And yeah, it was just that curiosity, and I'd rather just give it a go and stop kind of watching from afar. I think I remember I listened to somewhere along the way, I heard someone say, you're either a consumer or a creator. And that kind of really stuck with me, because I found I was spending like a lot of time scrolling, watching other people live their life. And I was firmly a consumer. And I was like, well, what's the point in being on this platform if I'm going to just watch everyone live their life? Like, because I never really posted much on my personal page. And I don't know why I didn't. I started getting over that. Like, I didn't feel like I had anything to post. So yeah, I was just really curious in that space. I wanted to give it a go. I felt like I could, and I still feel like I can grow a bit of a following, and from the 100 days, I've had overwhelmingly net positive on that experience. I met so many interesting people, and so many people have reached out to your page, and you'd be surprised with how many people just resonate with you and what you're doing and what you're saying, and people who want to meet up for a run, and it's been really positive. So I'm really happy I did it.
That quote that you said from Chris Williamson there about how would you live each day of your life if there was a film crew following you?
Yeah.
Is that a healthy way to live your life?
I found it's definitely not healthy to constantly document everything, because it's then you don't get a separation between real life and documenting, or at least it's tough. I think it's a healthy way to kickstart new habits. I mean, like, to get over that, to build those first initial habits of 2-3 weeks, to like, whether that be a whole food diet, whether it be more consistent with strength training in the gym, any new healthy habits that you think would benefit you, that accountability is brilliant. Like, to get over that first hurdle is the hardest part. And like there's no way if I wasn't posting on Instagram that I would have stuck to the 100 days. There's no way I would have stuck to the diet, continued to meal prep on a Sunday evening, unless I was filming myself. So like, to get over that initial hurdle, yes. Long term, like, it's probably down to you as a person. Some people are really good at the phone's an extension of their arm, and if they're not, it's not going to dictate what they do. And I feel like I'm getting better at that. But yeah, definitely, I don't document every day anymore. I just thought it was too much admin.
I think, yeah,
makes everything longer.
I think a good way to think about it is use whatever fuel you have available to get you going, to get you pointed and moving in the right direction.
Exactly.
And then once you're already, going at a good speed in your lane, you can take the foot off the gas a little bit.
That's a great point.
Yeah, 100%. Nice. So, yeah, I'm really interested in this. So, you've got your old account. There's probably lots of people back from Ireland following your old account. You started a new social media account from zero for this challenge. How did you feel starting that new account and before doing that first post?
Well, I started a new account because I just didn't want to piss anyone off. Like, my Instagram up to that point was just everyone I'd met from the age of 16, all through holidays, university, work, passing. Like, they follow me kind of to keep tabs on what I'm doing, but they don't care about, the majority of them don't care about the fact I'm eating half a kilo of mince every day and going down doing pull-ups and push-ups. Like, I didn't want to be harassing people every day with like, oh, look, I'm eating tubby National Greek yogurt again, and like, me with my top off. So that was the reason for a new account, and it definitely made it easier to post on that account. Because it meant I was starting from zero. So everyone who came and followed from the other page were genuinely interested in what I had to do or say. And I think that just makes it so much easier when you think about it that way. And then with regards to posting, it used to... That was the big hurdle. I'd been thinking about doing like a challenge like this for months, but for some reason, like, getting over that kind of just going and doing it and like putting myself out there was always like the hurdle. And I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe it's because, and maybe this is why it was so beneficial to create the new account, is a lot of that personal account you use, it's people from like school or university who know you as a very different person. And then obviously, as you go through life, you change. And it was probably just difficult to, like, most people who follow you are from like school. and you're a very different person who you were in school. So it's probably an awareness of the fact that if you come on now and you're turned into an Instagram guy, they'll all be like, what the fuck's he doing? Excuse my French, but like, you know, they'd be like,
you can swear, mate, it's fine.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, they'd be like, what the fuck is he doing?
So what did those people say?
Oh, nothing. Everyone's incredibly supportive. Like this is all like, this is like, most people, like the straight away, there was like 400, 500 people came from my initial account. Like that was all almost internal talk in my own head stopping me. And I suppose with a bit of maturity, I realized like I was the blocker. You know, it wasn't actually necessarily the people. That was an excuse I'd given myself for, like, that's just me looking at it negatively, the situation. Instead of how I should have looked at it was, what about all the people out there that will resonate with you? The people who will, like even the people you know, and loads of people that like I know that I would have never thought would be so interested in whole foods and training, even in Instagram, reaching out all the time. So yeah, in hindsight, everyone was incredibly supportive.
I hate when podcasts get interrupted by a long ad read, so I'm going to keep this one short. If you'd like to trial a virtual assistant for absolutely free for 2 weeks, go to our sponsor's website, www.remotey.com.au/contact, and enter the code MOMENTS. Someone from the team will get in touch with you. That's a virtual assistant for absolutely free for 2 weeks to do all those jobs you don't want to do. The sponsor's website address and that promo code are in the show notes. Thank you. Knowing Irish people as I do, I'm sure some people were like, what the fuck's Mike doing? Who does he think he is?
Yeah, of course, but they didn't message me. They might have said in the background.
So did you hear any whispers like that?
No, I think Lily got a few texts when I did the first post.
Is that your girlfriend?
My girlfriend Lily got a few texts being like, what the hell is he doing now?
From her friends? From your friends?
From her friends.
Right.
So, no, one or two people she knew. Not all. Like, everyone is incredibly supportive. I must say that. I think she got one or two texts of people just being like, oh, what the hell is he doing? Like, that's going to be...
Where does that come from?
Might just make someone feel a little... It might be a bit of a reflection on like, oh, should I be eating whole foods? Should I be training healthy? Maybe I should be starting a new Instagram account. And maybe it is a bit of a reflection on what they're not doing. But like, it's a very small minority. Like, ultimately, people, to be honest, people aren't thinking about you that much.
Yeah.
You know, people are thinking about themselves. Everyone has their own issues. No one's really thinking. No one's playing one-to-one defense on Chris, you know.
Mate, all right, let's talk about sort of the benefits of the challenge then. So early days, what did you notice physically, mentally, emotionally?
Well, the first initial 2-3 weeks, they were definitely tough because I was completely changing what I'd done in the weeks and months prior. So even like I was not really much of a cook, to be honest. I really had, and now I was cooking all my food. So there was like the timing of that, like it was a lot of, I felt like I didn't have enough time in the week, and then like obviously editing like videos each evening was tough, and I did definitely get a dopamine rush for the start of the challenge, so I did get stuck into the workouts. But yeah, after about 2 or 3 weeks, my body was feeling pretty stiff. I had a lot of cravings I was no longer like snacking on food, and if I was, it was a banana and an apple. And when you start a new job, there's a lot of new things. And I've noticed that my relationship with food is if I have something uncomfortable that I have to do ahead of me, a lot of the time is I'll actually just get up and have a snack to make myself feel better in the moment.
So what sort of snack would you have previously had?
Protein bars. Like, honestly, in my office we have a few free nibbly bits, Pringles and stuff. Like, just, I would have definitely noticed that, like, you just say you have something new and it's a bit of a challenge. And instead of like sitting and taking it on head on, like I'll take a little bit of comfort in like a snack before I go and get into that challenge. And you really notice that when you've like cut all processed food out of your diet. Then you realize, oh damn, I have to kind of sit with this now, or I have to go and like have a banana, and it doesn't hit twice as much as a pack of Pringles did. So I really noticed that, but the cravings did subside after 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, I started to feel the sustained energy level. I started to feel leaner. People were starting to compliment me. After just 3 weeks, they were like, you're looking good. And that was brilliant, because for 3 weeks, you feel all the pain of changing these habits and you don't see any of the positives. Whereas once I started to see the positives from week 3 on, things got a lot easier.
So let's talk about the whole food diet then, mate. So whole food diet, if I'm watching this and I don't know what the term whole foods means, what does it mean?
It's essentially single ingredients, just real food. It's meat, fruit, vegetables, nothing processed, nothing with kind of additives, preservatives, or flavorings. How I like to look at it is it's like beef is beef, or salt is just salt. Like if you have a taco seasoning packet, I probably formerly would have used. Yeah, there's like paprika, garlic, onion, and like they're all individual ingredients, but there'll be some like additives put in there just to have it so it has a longer shelf life, so it tastes a little bit better. So yeah, it's just single ingredient food.
So things like pasta, tortilla wraps, bread, all cut out?
Yeah, cut that out. I'm sure you can make pasta from scratch. I didn't. I wouldn't have considered pasta in my diet. Sourdough is actually fermented if you get it from a baker, and that would fall within the whole food category. But essentially it's just fruit, veg, and meat is what my diet was. But a Greek yogurt as well. It's not the actual act of like processing, it's really what's put into the food. So a Greek yogurt was with no flavorings or additives is a whole food.
So let's talk about the benefits of just going 100% whole foods then. What did you notice?
So what I noticed is I could eat an insane quantity of food and I could get leaner.
Right.
Like it was...
Have you looked into the science behind that? Like what's going on there?
So I think it's just whole foods. A lot of processed foods they're actually kind of designed in a way that they're easily digestible and they taste great. So they're kind of designed to be overeaten. Like if you think of McDonald's, it's really easy to eat 3,000 or 4,000 calories of McDonald's. Pretty hard to eat 3,000 or 4,000 calories of chicken breast. And also to have those kind of processed foods on the shelf longer, they strip away a lot of that like bacteria and nutrients. So we can digest it easier. So I think it's just, the whole foods by nature are lower in calorie and it's really hard to overeat them. And I found myself like, I never would have been able to eat half a kilo of beef mince. Like it's an insane amount of meat. Whereas I found like in the challenge, like no bother to me at all. Half a kilo of beef mince, a lot of sweet potatoes, some kimchi, a bit of Parmesan cheese on that as well. Like it's a really big quantity of food and I could take it down no bother. And I was getting leaner as a result.
Do you have a rough idea how many calories you were putting away a day?
I didn't really track calories, but I have no idea. I'd say about
roughly
2,500 to 3,000 calories.
Right.
But it's really hard to hit those calorie numbers on whole foods. But I was hitting the one metric I was keeping an eye on was protein, and I was hitting about 200 grams of protein every day.
So is the theory there that if you cut out processed foods and just eat whole foods, one of the reasons you get leaner is because sort of inflammation in the body dies down?
Well, that is part of the reason, but I think really simply put is they're really hard to overeat. Like your body kind of fills all the necessary nutrients that it needs, that it just signals to the brain we don't actually need more food.
And energy wise?
Energy was like, people ask me about energy, and towards the end of the challenge I was feeling pretty tired, but there's no way I would have been able to work out twice a day, every day for 100 days. And it wasn't just like, I didn't count like a walk in the workout. Like I didn't pussyfoot around the workouts. Probably because I was documenting it. I really went for all the workouts. Even if it was a zone 2 effort on the bike, like it was a zone 2 effort. It was 140 beats per minute for 45 minutes. And there was no way I would have been able to have the energy to tackle all that working out if I didn't have such a clean sort of energy source throughout the day.
Were there any foods that you kind of missed?
Pain au chocolat. Yeah. Pain au chocolat in the bakery every morning. Yeah, that was...
Would you have got a pain au chocolat in the bakery every morning?
Oh, that was one of the worst habits that I got into. I couldn't get a coffee without getting a pain au chocolat. It was probably the entire reason why I started the challenge. I was just... And I just let all these kind of bad habits creep in. And that's why I needed that reset. But I was thinking about croissants for the entirety of the 100 days.
Yeah, right.
And other than that, no, I like you feel so good. You genuinely feel lean. You feel like I was running faster. I was lifting more weights in the gym. Like you do feel good. So like there's no better incentive to like sticking to that diet than feeling good.
So you did a marathon within that 100 days there. How did the marathon training go without pasta?
Yeah, and this was something I really wanted to debunk, that you don't need to kind of, because sometimes when people are like carb loading, they're having a lot of jellies and they're having a lot of kind of shitty foods as nearly an excuse to carb load. So that was a really interesting, and I say debunk, but I didn't know how it was going to go. I was really excited to try that out. But a lot of sweet potato. In the build up for the marathon, I had 800 grams of carbs. Raw honey is a great energy source for carbs. Maple syrup, and cooked a lot of pancakes. That it wasn't even pancakes as a source of carb, but it was really as a vessel to get more raw honey and maple syrup in. And there is a lot of whole food carb options that do the trick. Orange juice, funnily enough, I found out as being decent energy and carb source. And yeah, no, it was honestly fine.
So had you done a marathon before, Mike?
I ran an ultra about a year and a half prior to the marathon in Connemara. It was a 63k. And I'd done the Paris Marathon about 3 years prior. And I ran the Paris Marathon in like 3 hours and 46 minutes.
Fueled by pasta and things like that?
Honestly, fueled by ignorance.
Right.
I hadn't known nothing about fuel.
That's the title for this episode, Fueled by Ignorance.
Looking like that, like I hadn't really clue what I was doing. I think I had a croissant that morning.
in
Paris. I had about a liter of water, a croissant. It was a Sunday.
Let's go.
Were open. Literally, let's go. And I think that was very much in my David Goggins era. Like, fuel, nutrition, it's a load of bollocks. Like, it's all about up here. Like, that's all that matters. And as much as it is important to have good mental strength, fuel and nutrition it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, right.
And I found that with the Whole Foods. And like I think I put that down to why I like my running came on so much. Like I ended up running at 3:02:58. And I had no right to even go for a sub 3 marathon. The max kilometers I ran the highest kilometer week was 55 kilometers. Like people to flirt with that 3 hour distance can run north of like 90 to 100k a week. And I put all like that. I put that increase in like running speed and form solely down to the diet and the anti-inflammatory nature of that diet. That would allow me to train more and recover better.
So you managed to get 800 grams of carbs in the week leading up to the marathon each day?
Yeah, not each day. Did a carb loading day about 48 hours out, and then about 600 grams the week of. Now, I will say a big learning from that was I overdid the starchy potatoes. My stomach the day before the marathon was in a bad way.
Sweet potatoes or white potatoes?
Sweet potatoes are fine. I just went a bit overboard on white potatoes, and it was just too much starch in my stomach. And
Classic Irish man, right?
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, my gut has evolved over thousands of years to like take on this quantity of potatoes. I'll be fine. This will be nothing to me. And I said that in the video. And then the next morning I woke up and I was like, oh, fuck. I don't feel so good. But a simple fix there would have been like sourdough, like a bit more sourdough and honey, and maple syrup, and less starchy potato.
That's a lot of carbs. 600 to 800 grams of carbs purely from Whole Foods is a lot of carbs. So you're getting potatoes in there, maple syrup, honey,
pancakes, maple syrup, a lot of bananas. I think I took down about 5 or 6 bananas. Now this is like, this is what I did, and it worked very well. It might be different for other people, but yeah, a lot of bananas, a lot of sweet potato, a lot less protein. Like the day before I had like no protein to leave more space in my stomach to have all those potatoes, maple syrup, raw honey, pancakes.
And if you're not allowed to have gels during the race to fuel yourself, what did you have?
Raw honey and sodium tablets.
How did you carry the raw honey?
I just in the pockets.
What, like a little tube of?
No, it was actually it's like a shout out to Nectar Sport. Nectar Sport are a brand here in Bondi, and it's just very simply raw honey, sachet 24 grams of carbs, and in like a typical energy gel packet, but it's just one ingredient, which was perfect timing because my original plan was try to get Lily set up at different stations with some salted potatoes. Like I didn't realize raw honey was even a carb source until I started obviously on this whole food journey. But knowing the marathon was there, I was like, well, look, if I'm going to do this honestly, energy gels aren't going to work. It's going to have to be potatoes, 10 kilometers in, 20. Thank God I didn't have to do that. And the raw honey worked really well. And it's definitely a lot easier on the stomach than I found gels in my past running escapades.
What other learnings, Mike, did you have from doing the 100% whole food diet for those 100 days? Good and bad.
Good and bad. I think the bad, and this is why I've changed my approach to like a predominantly whole food diet rather than 100%. I did about 3 trips away. We went down to like Jervis Bay for a weekend. I was also in Perth for the marathon, and we were in Huskisson for the half marathon. And when you're not able to cook and prepare foods, it can be really tricky. You actually just end up overpaying for steak and giving the chips away to someone else, which is no way to... Like, I think it's ironic, some of these really restrictive diets that we do them to get healthier. But then what if we're chronically stressing ourselves out in the process to be so restrictive and to stick to the diet? Well, then that's not healthy. And
did you find yourself, Mike, getting in that stress state or a little bit resentful in those situations?
Definitely resentful. Definitely towards the end. There was one, we did a weekend away and we had a great crew in a house up in Huskisson. And like, just when people went out for food, I just got like, I had to alter around a fruit smoothie just so it's fruit and take out all the bad stuff. And everyone else had full like plates of like breakfast. And I was just ended up being hungry. Like, I just ran a half marathon in like a 1:26 time and I was starving. And like everyone was just taking their time as they should. And I was there like starving with a fruit smoothie. And I was kind of like, this is a kind of a bit stupid now. Like, you know, in those scenarios, one bad-ish meal, it's not like you should have the burger or the pizza, but like if just kind of, it doesn't have to be 100% whole food in that moment. It's not going to kill you. Like a 90 to 95% whole food diet, you get all the same benefits as that 100% strict nature.
So did that impact your mood in those social situations?
100%. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, and I talked about it one of the days of the challenge. It wasn't just the food that towards the end, it was because it was the cumulative nature of it, that it was 2 workouts every day and you had to go prepare your own food, and I had to work about how I was going to document all this to fit into the reel. And if we were driving back to Sydney that night, it would be on the road for 6 hours. So I have to find out the day after running a half marathon, how do I find a pull-up bar around to do a Murph, but then also run like 10K before everyone else gets up because we're going to hit the road. And in moments like that, I was like, this is a bit stupid, because not only do I have to leave everybody to like get this challenge done, but also when I was with people the day before, in my head, I wasn't with them. I was thinking about, how am I going to fit the 2 workouts in tomorrow? How am I going to have like a breakfast, lunch and dinner that are like 100% clean foods? Where am I going to find time to put this all together into a reel? And in moments like that, like I'm really proud that I stuck to the challenge because I set out to do it. But I realized like this restrictive, 100% restrictive nature is a bit silly in those situations.
So in those situations, it feels like, Mike, that you were being taken out of the present moment and being able to enjoy that with your girlfriend and your friends, and you were just too busy stressing about planning ahead and what needed to be done.
Yeah, because the challenge was like, it definitely kind of stretched me fairly thin, that there were just the cumulative nature of like, it was at this stage I was doing this for 74 days. There was no respite, kept going into the next thing, while also like I didn't lock myself completely into a room. I was still like going on these trips and engaging in life. And yeah, like ultimately the reason why I did it was to get into better physical and mental shape. Like, I wanted to get healthier. But in the process of getting healthier, I started to chronically stress myself out. And towards the end, I did definitely grow a bit of resentment towards the challenge, being like, what's the point in this? Like, yes, I'm leaner than I've ever been. Yes, I have like the sustained energy levels. Yes, I'm fitter than I've ever been. But when I'm with people I want to be around, I'm not even there. I'm thinking about the next thing all the time.
I think your partner and your friends picked up on that?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. And I think people were like, just like, this is a crazy challenge she's doing. Like, some people, maybe I don't know what people said behind my back. People to my face were like, wow, it's like, fair play for what you're doing. But inside myself, I kind of felt a bit stupid doing it that late in. But I said I was going to go do something, and I needed to see it out. Which I'm proud to have done. There's so much lessons, because the lesson there, I think, is like there'll be more challenges I do, or like things I go for, even trying to like build a personal brand on Instagram, which was one of my goals for 2026. Like the lesson is, when you're going for those goals, to look for a sustainable approach, that there's no point killing yourself in the pursuit, and instead try find a bit more joy in the process. So that I definitely took that away from 100 Hours.
This podcast is sponsored by Chief Nutrition, and good news, podcast listeners get 10% off all Chief products using the link in the show notes. Chief offer protein powders, collagen protein bars, organic biltong, organic beef bars, and they're all fucking delicious. My personal favorite is the hazelnut brownie collagen protein bar. I have one every afternoon, and it is the perfect snack. So use that link in the show notes and thank me later. So toward the end of the challenge, Mike, when you were starting to get a bit more resentful and you were noticing those mood changes, were there ever any difficult conversations with your partner or friends?
Honestly, no. I think I was pretty aware what was going on, and because there was an end date, I was like, let's just see this out now. Lily definitely got a bit pissed off that I wasn't doing as much cleaning of the dishes and housework than I should have been, which was a great call out. But no, it was nothing serious, and I knew it was just like, right, this challenge is really tough. I'm just going to finish this out. I've done it, and it was a good. I wasn't blind. I was pretty aware of it as it was happening, and I even said it. There was one video where I was doing pull-ups, and I was like, oh, just one thing that I'm really going to look forward to after this challenge is done is just like being present with people and enjoying the moment more, rather than always thinking about this next thing.
Yeah. Let's talk about the fitness end side of things, the training. So most of the time, 2 workouts a day. Again, what did you notice from doing that?
I think I was definitely overtrained, and anyone could have told you that. I probably pushed it a bit too hard because I was documenting it. So I felt that, in hindsight, maybe like a 45-minute walk should have been done. That would have made it way more sustainable. But because you're putting it up on Instagram, you probably feel like you have to overreach it to an extent. But my body didn't give in. I didn't get injured. And that's the anti-inflammatory nature of the whole food diet. Like, I was able to push myself that hard. Which is funny enough, that was a big lesson learned. And when I finished the 100 days, I was less restrictive. I ate the croissants. I had a few pizzas. I had a few dinners out. I wasn't restrictive at all. I just kind of had a normal diet. I did 100 days of all this training, running marathons, doing all these events, strength training, all the numbers going up, getting fitter, no injuries. 4 weeks out of a whole food diet. I sleep awkwardly one night in a bed in Byron Bay. I have a spasm in my trap. I can't train for 9 days. And I toned down the training so much, and I put that completely down to the diet.
Really?
I completely down to
So what do you think that is?
I just think that when you have such a clean source of fuel, it doesn't allow for inflammation to fester. Of course, you could if I kept pushing, I probably inevitably my body would have gave in. But it does it just has to be the anti-inflammatory nature of a whole food diet.
Yeah,
it has to be.
My body did give in when I was doing the 75-hour challenge. I got about 40 days in. I went for a run and my knee just gave in. I just couldn't take the.
Yeah, it's so much stress in your body. I wouldn't tell anyone to go and you don't need to go and train twice a day for 100 days. It's madness. You need to your body adapts and rest. But part of the reason I was able to do that was because I was so strict, honest, and clean in the food I was putting in my body.
So how was it from a recovery point of view?
I definitely felt like I was stiff more often than not, but I mean, it was pretty good. Even the fact, I could train I didn't taper for the marathon. I trained all week into it. I ran it. I ran a really good time. Next day I went back into training and kept going. That was, don't get me wrong, it was really tough. And my body was really stiff, but even to be able to do that, was pretty insane looking back. Yeah.
I want to move into the social media side of things, Mike. You've touched on it a little bit about the phone being an extension of your arm, and there's a pressure to nearly try and capture every aspect of your day. what was the cost of posting your life on social media every day for 100 days?
Great question. And I don't think, in hindsight, this doesn't need to be a cost, but this was self-inflicted. So because I was documenting everything, I stopped going to a lot of the social classes. I stopped training with people because I didn't really want to put the phone in anyone's face. It's difficult when you're going to a new community setting and you're trying to meet new people and say hello, but then you're also getting the phone out. Like, that's just awkward. I didn't like it. I felt like made people feel uncomfortable.
So were you doing that at the start of the challenge?
I was doing it before the challenge when I arrived in Bondi. I tried to do it a bit at the start. I tried to bring the phone into the conditioning class in Virtus. It was just shocking. Like, it takes away, I found it was taking away from the moment. So what I did then was I just started to train on my own more, which was an awful idea because like health isn't just what you put in your body or like daily movements. A huge aspect of health is social connection. And that's even confirmed in blue zone studies. Like in blue zone studies, they have the blue zones, for people that don't know, is the places in the world that they have an abnormally high amount of people that live past 100 years old. And it's not like they just sit in a nursing home.
It's like the Book of Kagai, isn't it?
Yeah. I've never actually read it, but it's the same logic.
Place in Japan where, there's a little hub of people that have an abnormally high life expectancy compared to the rest of the world. That's a blue zone.
It's a blue zone.
Yeah. The Book of Kagai, if you've not read it, it's really good. And it talks about a little place in Japan that has loads and loads of these people. But it's all about social connection. It's all about continuing to have a purpose beyond retirement age. So a lot of these people continue to work, not really, really hard, but they continue to work into their 80s and 90s. And as you say, social is a massive part of that as well.
Yeah. And whole food diets are proven to be a part of that, and daily movements. But going into the challenge, my idea of health was what you put in your body in training. And coming out of the challenge, I realized, well, there's this huge, and you just kind of mentioned it there, kind of the life's purpose and spirituality. Haven't taught too much about that, but maybe the fact that I'm building a personal brand around health and wellness, that's ticking that box. But really what I noticed was that the importance of the social connection. And to document the challenge, I isolated myself and trained on my own. And that's probably added into that kind of resentment towards the end of the challenge. I was getting sick of the challenge, and it's because I completely isolated myself in the process of getting fitter and healthier. And yes, I was fitter than I'd ever been, and I was looking better, and I did have great energy levels, but
you couldn't share that with anyone?
I couldn't share it with anyone. And I was sharing it with people, but then I wasn't even present in the moment when I was there. I was thinking about the challenge, and I was a lot less social over the 100 days than I am now. And that's just a huge part of health that is undermined. And it's so important. And that's why I really wanted to actually post onto past 100 hard, because you'd be surprised the amount of DMs I got from like young guys and even a lot of girls as well who were interested in whole food diet. The last thing I wanted to promote was stay in your room for 100 days, just eat really clean, just do push-ups and pull-ups. You're going to be ripped and you're going to have a great life.
You're not going to have any friends.
You're not going to have any. That's no way to live. It's no way to live. And that's why my kind of next approach and my new kind of aspect of social media is you can eat clean, you can train with intention, but you have to share it with people. And yeah, that's I don't know why we started talking about social connection, but it's really important.
What about the pressures of trying to grow a personal brand and build an audience online?
Yeah, I in the middle of the challenge, because it was new to me, I found that I was looking at the engagement numbers a lot. Like I've pretty small accounts, a couple of thousand followers, but I went from 0 to a couple of thousand followers, and I definitely found like the number of views I was getting dictated my mood on a given day.
Dopamine.
You get dopamine being on this side of it as well when you're putting stuff up. Formerly, I would have only got dopamine from the scrolling. And I think I did a good job. I'm still guilty of it, we all are, but trying to be aware of that and cutting that at the source. Like if I get like 20,000 views on one video, I shouldn't have more energy. But if I get 5,000 views on another, that shouldn't deplete my energy storage.
But it does.
It does. It's crazy that you'd be lying if that doesn't affect you. And it was really interesting to feel that. Like, why do I hop out of bed on a Sunday because the reel I posted the night before is going viral and I'm all chirpy and having a good time? But then when they hit a lull, I'm dragging myself around the place. Like, it's crazy. Let's say it's crazy that happens, but it did, and I became aware of that.
And you're someone with a small following, Mike, and it's not your full-time gig.
Exactly.
Can you imagine what that's like for someone who's got 500,000 followers and that is their full-time gig?
That's their like income, and they have probably brand deals dependent on that. Yeah, it's probably good to get aware of it now and to realize it's a thing. But I literally thought about that. I was like, that must be really tough.
So how did you manage those swings?
I recognized that, not straight away, but I recognized the effect the views were having on me, and I kind of just realized what was going on, and I focused more on, this isn't like I'm posting every day, but this challenge isn't about Instagram analytics. This is about like I'm documenting a life, eating clean, showing up, taking out, like being in a good mental place to take on 2 workouts, and just that process of 100 hours. Clean eating and working out, and focus more on those inputs, and focus on the inputs rather than focus on the engagement of the platform.
So if I am a creator and I'm a bit of a dopamine junkie for my likes and my views and my engagement, and I want to get away from that, what framework or process could I put in place to try and switch my mindset?
I think just focus on the inputs. Like, focus on what are you, like, maybe have a bit of a content plan, and if you're doing or if you're documenting your day, focusing on, if for me it was about nutrition, like focus on what I'm cooking, literally just simply like what I'm cooking, life. Focusing on when I'm in the gym, I'm focusing on the reps in the gym, and I'm not being probably performative to the camera, and instead I'm living my life, and I'm just, the phone is an extension of my arm, and just get to the end of each day and look back on that day, and that was a pretty good day. I ticked off everything I wanted to do, and move on to the next post or reel. And don't if you catch yourself getting up and you get out of bed in the morning, and the first thing you check is how that post performed, like, stop it. Like, that doesn't matter. It's up now. It doesn't matter. Like, you just focus on the kind of the doing what you need to do, and like that could be like leaving time for connection with friends, and looking after your body, looking after your mental headspace, and just focusing on the inputs and not getting too caught up with the engagement.
I think it's easy to say, stop it. Don't pick your phone up first thing in the morning and check your likes.
Of course, yeah.
It's way harder to actually do that. One thing my girlfriend's actually started doing, and it was after we listened to the Chris Williamson podcast where he went on Stephen Bartlett, and he was talking about putting your phone in the other room.
Yeah, brilliant.
So she started doing that, and she's noticed a massive difference. So that first thing in the morning when she's waking up, she's doing her meditation rather than immediately checking her phone for WhatsApp messages that have come overnight and Instagram and things like that. So I think that is a really good tip. Like, physical space between where you're sleeping and your phone can really help address that.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're starting to think, I've maybe got a little bit of a problem here. If the first thing I'm doing in the morning is my alarm goes off, I'm reaching to get my phone and I'm opening Instagram to scroll, probably not a good start to the day.
The worst possible start to the day. And I actually found that I got into a worse habit of it over here because of the time difference. So when you wake up every morning,
you've got all the WhatsApp messages from back home.
You have the WhatsApp messages, you have Munster Rugby are knocked out of the Champions Cup, you have Man United are playing, you have Irish Rugby. Like, you've not only do you have all the group chats, you've all the group chats that you have the family chats, you have people reaching out to you, but then you've all the sports news and everything that's happening back home.
Yeah, that's the one time I will make the exception of checking my phone first thing.
Same as.
I'll not go into the WhatsApp, I'll not go into Instagram. But I'll check the Rangers score. I'll check the Northern Ireland score. I'll check the Ireland rugby score.
I'm still guilty of it, but that's a challenge. That's a challenge being here and coming from like Ireland, the UK. It's like
my girlfriend's noticed. One of my bad habits is if Rangers are playing, and I get up first thing, do check the score on my phone. And if Rangers have drawn or lost, I'll just go, fuck's sake. And she'll still be like sort of half asleep, kind of like, Rangers have lost, haven't they? And I'm like, yeah.
You're pretty common occurrence.
Yeah, pretty common occurrence, mate. Pretty common occurrence. Look, you actually said something there I really want to drill down on.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were becoming performative?
It's definitely at times. I mean, the whole thing of like using it as an accountability metric in the first place is performative. Like with the fact, like, how would you live your life if there was a film crew following you? Like, just performative in a good way as well.
Well, there must have been an element, Mike, where you were like, oh, if I go here and do this exercise at this angle at this time, it's going to look really good on Instagram.
Yeah, like getting up maybe for like a sunrise, but I was kind of doing that anyway.
Yeah.
So there probably is parts that I was becoming performative that I'm not even not even aware of, but I'd like to think that regardless of the phone, that this is how I'd live and this is how I'd approach the challenge.
Yeah.
But there definitely was one or two gym sessions in the midst of it that I was just really tired, that I went in and just like kind of like I did a 45-minute gym session, but was I really stimulating the muscle? Not a hope. I was too tired. I needed rest, but I knew I had to do a workout, and that the camera needed to see a workout. But if I was being honest, after the workout, being like, oh, that was like pretty shocking. Like I was too tired for that.
A lot of people, when they do a challenge like that and they do post daily vlogs, there is a pressure to nearly only put your best life on there because that's what the algorithm and the followers will eat up. Now, what you've described, I think from sort of day 74 onwards, is you started to nearly feel a bit resentful from the task. You felt the diet was too restricting. You were sort of lone wolfing your training, so weren't really getting that social connection. You're probably dealing with this inner conflict of, I don't feel great, but I've still got to put my best life on the Instagram here. So how did you manage that? Because that drains a lot of energy as well.
No, it does.
Like having to put a big smile on your face when you don't necessarily feel like smiling.
I did call it out a few times. Like I had one video where I looked at, I took people through the Whoop metrics from start to finish, and everything was on the up. HRV went up, resting heart rate went down, which is a good thing. You get fitter. The other metrics, VO2 max went up. Sleep debt went up, which isn't good. But what I said in the video was, all these health metrics are going up, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not feeling good. And this, like, you need rest. And this is not, like, these metrics will all come back down if I continue on this journey. So I think that's important. I think that'll be the success of a personal Instagram account, is honesty. I think Instagram, when it first started, was like perfection and everyone being so aesthetic and beautiful looking. But now, like, probably because of AI, like, we can get perfection through AI. That really what we want is humans, and we're all kind of flawed in our own way. So, like, I like to think I was aware of that and I called that out. But yeah, that was definitely
So what specifically did you call it?
Just that, like, this is no way to live. Like, talking about what I said earlier, I didn't want, because I had a lot of young guys following the page and reaching out and wanting tips. The last thing I wanted to promote was, this is what you should do. You should eat only whole foods. You should isolate yourself and you should train and you're going to get ripped. Like, there's no point in being in great physical shape if mentally you're like not in a good place. You know, if mentally you've no one to share it with, or if you are with people and you're so chronically stressed that you're not actually there with people. Like, what's the point in having the fit body then? Like, the whole point that you want to be fit and healthier is that you're more comfortable in your own skin, that you're not self-conscious, that, like, if we're having a conversation like this, I'm not worrying about how I look, and we can really, like, engage with one another. Whereas I found I overreached so much, I stressed myself out so much from overdoing it, and the challenge was so much that I wasn't being present for people, and I didn't want people to come to the page and be like, oh, he got ripped, I'm going to do that.
So it eventually became unhealthy.
It definitely became unhealthy. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Where would you have said it sort of peaked and then tailed off?
I think so. As I said, I was getting all the benefits from the whole foods, and that's why obviously it's a still my diet today. Probably around day 50, 60. And the marathon probably didn't help. Like that did fry the nervous system, and that was a big effort. So I'd say around the day 60, yeah, probably 60 mark, that I noticed the weight I was lifting in the gym, it was going up, 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 and then it plateaus. Like I wasn't coming to the gym with that energy I once had, that I could like go and lift the heavier weights. And that was probably the isolating nature started to catch up with me. The lack of like the presence started to catch up with me. Yeah, that I started to get found out, and my body could feel it. And that's why health isn't just what you put in your body and how you train. It's also largely connection and the kind of spirituality and kind of life's purpose.
How did you feel on day 100?
Relieved. I was wrecked. I was really happy. I was really happy to take a chill pill. I was really happy I was delighted that it was done and I saw the back of it. I was proud. I was really proud because it wasn't easy. And I do think it's really important that, if you say you're going to go do something, you should show up for yourself and you should do it. Like there is serious benefit in that. And sometimes it is like doing a hard thing, that misogi, that I think they talk about in that Ikigai book as well. And doing a hard thing once a year, it is, I'm going to butcher this, but it's like essentially character building, and it is good for you. Like, so I was proud, but I was relieved that it was done. I was wrecked.
And did you do anything to sort of mark the occasion, celebrate? Did you have that pain au chocolat?
We had multiple pain au chocolats in the weeks that followed. We got a good crew out of people came down on day 100 and had a coffee and glory days and a good chat. Lily got some balloons. She was pretty happy to see the end of it. And
so what did Lily say to you when it was done?
She was just like, so good to have you back. So good to have you back. And it wasn't all bad for the whole 100 days. It was just towards the end it got tough, which is as expected. Yeah. It was 100 days hard. It was hard, I probably didn't realize how tough it would get towards the end. And I had a little dinner the night after. And then just honestly, just relaxed. Like I didn't completely stop training. I still tipped away in training. I just was more lenient in my diet and just took a break from my phone. Took a big break from my phone, which was needed.
You mentioned your nervous system got fried. Do you think it was what fried the nervous system more, the overtraining or the social media?
Probably a bit of both. The way I was I documented everything in life for 100 days. I went from like nothing to zero, literally went from 0 to 100. And that is like stress on the body. The working out was a stress on the body. Probably a combination of the two. And trying to squeeze it all in around a 9-to-5 finance job in the city I just started, like that was tricky. So all this like added stress definitely took a toll on my nervous system.
You took a break from social media.
Yeah.
After the challenge, you'd been posting every day for 100 days and you took a break for a while. Why did you do that?
I needed a break. My head was fried. I was wrecked, and I needed time to reflect. I knew there was lots of learnings from the 100 days, and I wanted to just take some time to reflect on it. What went well, what didn't go so well, what kind of nuggets of wisdom can I take out of this and tell people about. And I just wanted to very simply, I just wanted to come down to Bondi, go for a swim and not have to set up my phone and jump in. I wanted to go to Virtus and do a gym session without having to document it all the time, because that did eat into the time of everything. Like a 45-minute gym session was now an hour and 10 minutes because I was setting up the phone, which is good. It's needed. I'll be doing more of it when I'm trying to grow the Instagram page. It's just doing it every day didn't work for me. And I just needed that break. And it was actually probably really good for what we spoke about earlier, and how you can get kind of like hooked on the metric side of Instagram, and taking a break for 7 weeks, realizing, your following actually still grows from previous videos, and like people aren't going to unfollow you, and you don't constantly need to be posting. Like you can give yourself the space, and it's not, the world isn't going to end. And it was like good to disengage from like that metric side of it that we talked about earlier. Which again is crazy. I never thought I'd be saying that, because I still consider my account a very small account. Yet it still does have an effect on you. Which
it's mad. Dopamine just dragging you in, mate.
It's crazy, regardless of the quantity. of the views or the following that you get. That's really interesting.
It's the way it's designed. It's designed to keep you on the platform, keep you hooked. Dopamine.
I would have known from as a consumer point of view, but I never realized that that's actually the exact same if you're creating things as well. And it's awareness is the first step. You should be aware of it.
It's the same, but then there's actually pressure as well. When you're a consumer, if you're scrolling and you're getting dopamine, there's no pressure with that.
Yeah.
But as a creator, you're still wanting the dopamine from the high engagement, all the views. But then there's this weird layer of pressure that you probably put on yourself as well.
Yeah, completely. Now, I know because we've probably talked a bit negatively about social media. Overall, it was a net positive experience.
Yeah.
Overall, I got some incredible DMs. So many people that I never would have interacted with would stop me in and around Bondi and say, "Oh, I've seen your page," and we get chatting about it. And yeah, even Fergal Guinan is currently cycling from Ireland to Australia, and he was in the depths of Indonesia, and he came across my page and started watching and interacting with it. And I met Fergal in person. We had a great conversation. It was brilliant. And it's in what worlds do me and Fergal cross paths? And there's there is a net positive there, and that's why I want to grow that page.
Yeah.
Because if you do show up and if you do be yourself and you post what you're curious in, and you're going to attract more people that feel and think the same way as you, and it can be an amazing space.
I would agree. As a creator, it's an overall net positive. For some of the things you said, even this podcast, which relies heavily on social media, without this podcast and without posting on social media, in what world do I sit down and have a chat with Big John?
It's ridiculous.
You know what I mean?
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
In what world do I sit down and have a conversation with a 3-time Olympic gold medalist?
Yeah, that's brilliant. When you think about it like that, it's worth some of the pain. Maybe not as much as the.
Yeah.
Again, not documenting it every day and taking on all that stress, but doing it in a way that's sustainable is so worth it.
I think it's up to you to decide how you interact with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And how you let it impact your mood. As you said, if it's if you're in one of these scenarios where you can skip out of bed the morning after a reel has gone viral versus dragging your knuckles.
Yeah.
If the reel hasn't done as well as you expected.
Yeah.
You're not in a good spot there.
Yeah.
Don't get too high, don't get too low. And don't put too much pressure or importance on it, I would say.
Yeah.
Mike, if you reflect on that 100-day challenge and you removed the extremes of the challenge, what does a sustainable version of it look like?
Yeah, so a sustainable version of it looks like... So I'm still not drinking alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol since I started the challenge. So I do think there is, you can live a very, you can have good fun without drink. So I think that I keep that rule the same.
And are you gonna keep that going?
I've I'm kind of just going off feel. I'd love to do at least a year, but I've no gasping urge to drink. I do make a joke that if the Republic of Ireland get to the World Cup in Mexico this summer, that we might have to entertain a few tequilas.
I'm the same, mate. I'm the exact same. I think I'm 2.5 years into the whole no drinking thing.
Yeah.
If Rangers win the league and Northern Ireland get to the World Cup, I might have a Guinness.
Yeah, no, there's this again, and there's also something about the pint of Guinness in the west of Ireland with a few friends that does entice me. So I'm not going to ever say never, but I'm just still playing around with that.
The good thing about drinking Guinness back home is if you go to a lot of the pubs back in Ireland, Northern Ireland now, if they're a good Guinness pub, they'll have Guinness Zero on draft and it tastes the exact fucking same.
Brilliant.
There's maybe a 1% difference, but it means when I go back to Belfast and I can still go to all my favourite pubs in Belfast with my dad and with my friends. We can all sit down, we can all have pints of Guinness. I'll have my 0.0 Guinness. And you get that social.
Yeah, brilliant.
You get that social impact. You're still sitting there having something that tastes exactly like a Guinness.
Brilliant.
And you're getting that. What you're really wanting in that scenario isn't a Guinness. It's that social experience of sitting around with your mates talking shit whilst there's a Guinness whilst there's a Guinness in your hand.
Yeah, completely agree.
Good thing about Ireland is you've got that.
Brilliant. Yeah, that just So I'm sticking to this approach of no alcohol, and I'll give you literally, last night I was with 3 great mates over here, and we were in the pub in Markfell, and I was just drinking heaps, 0-0.
Yeah.
And I had a fucking great time. We had the chats.
Yeah.
We were having such a laugh. And the beauty was I was able to leave at a reasonable hour. We had a great time. I left at a reasonable hour. I got up this morning and I did 4:40 at 5 a.m. And then I come into this like podcast. So the alcohol I'm leaving, but I'm leaving, like, I'm not going to isolate myself from the Saturday night out. Like, I'm going to still go to a lot of the events. Maybe not going to go out every Saturday because I'm not going to go to a nightclub sober. It's horrific. But still go to those social interactions and have good fun. But then also that leaves you with the space to get up the next morning and do the physical pursuit.
Yeah.
So that'll keep that. Whole foods, touched on it a little bit earlier. Predominantly whole food diet. I've actually, since like the turn of the year, I've literally had like a super clean diet, 100% whole foods. But if friends of mine are going to Bondi Tony's for like an occasion or something's going on, I'm not going to not go to Bondi Tony's. I'm not going to bring my lunchbox to Bondi Tony's.
Yeah, best burgers in Bondi, by the way.
Amazing burgers, and I'm gonna have a burger, because what's one burger in 2 weeks of Whole Foods? Like, if you're honest with the approach. Like, not that I'm not going to Bondi Tony's every day of the week, but like, you can, if you really, like, I identify myself now as like almost a Whole Foods guy. So I don't even think about when I'm in the shop buying like shit food. I'm buying Whole Foods, but I'm not going to be so restrictive to like miss out on the social occasions. And instead I'm going to go to Bondi Tony's and try get the best alternative option. And I don't know what that is, but that's what I'm going to change to a 95% whole food diet, because I saw all the benefits of that diet. Training, non-negotiable rest days. Just like leave your body the time and space to recover. And that's as much mental as it is physical. Just taking time out. And that leaves space for when you do go to the gym, or if you are training for the marathon, it's intentional. Like you're there, and when you're there. Like you're stimulating your muscles. You're sticking to the plan. You're pushing yourself, but you're able to do that now more so because you're giving yourself the adequate rest. So adequate rest, and not documenting life every day. I still want to try my hand at growing this brand, but I'm not going to let documenting life dictate me not going to the social occasions. If the situation is too awkward for me to get content at, that's okay. We're going to like do what I can, and then like put together what I can, like take away that pressure of documenting everything. And if in that moment it just doesn't feel right to get the phone out, just don't get the phone out. It's okay. It's okay if we miss a day, or if we don't post this consistently. I think it's quality over quantity on Instagram now. Is what I think is a sustainable approach.
So in terms of frequency, you've went from posting every day to workouts a day. How much are you training now? How much are you posting on social media?
I'm training usually about 4 gym sessions a week, 1 tough conditioning session, and a bit...
Which we're going to go and do after this.
And about 20-30k running. But like every Thursday, I do nothing. Thursday's
rest day? Nice.
Yeah. If we have to change around the week, Sunday's the rest day. And there's still 1 or 2 days where I do double training. Today I did 4:40 in conditioning, but I still think I love training, so there's still time for that. But yeah, just listening to the body and letting giving the body the time and space to recover, is my new approach.
Beautiful, mate. Mike, do you see the challenge as something that changed you as a person, or did it just reveal the true version of Mike?
I think that's a good question. You could probably make an argument for both. I think it probably revealed the true person that I am. That like it did give me a platform that I could just come on and just speak and just try to talk pretty honestly and pretty straight. I wasn't like afraid of... I've got over that fear of not posting and just coming online and just being myself, and still getting over that. So it probably exposed the things that I can overextend a bit as well. That I was a bit of a kind of David Goggins my way through a lot of aspects, and that isn't a sustainable approach, which was a huge learning. So it exposed that was definitely a side of me. And then it also changed me, because now rest is a huge part of my week. And I now have a huge appreciation for the importance of like connection that I never would have put such weight on. Like, as I said earlier, I used to think it was just about what you put in your body and physical activity. Whereas now it's those three pillars, and arguably the most important there is connection. And so it definitely changed me in that regard. And yeah, I wouldn't have not done it, because there were so much learnings in it. But I wouldn't advise people to go. You don't have to go and kill yourself for 100 days. Like, if you actually want to make a better health choices, or you want to get fitter or leaner, there's a sustainable way of doing that. And yeah, it's the kind of message I want to portray after doing it.
Beautiful, mate. We'll leave it there. Mike, thank you, brother.
Legend, Chris. That's brilliant. Brilliant.